This is the knitting news for the 14th week of 2025, and I wasn't ready again. The other night at knitting, Jill was working on her mohair that I really must take a photograph of. If I have, it'll be here, and if I haven't, I will do it next time. The colours are really strong. It's lovely and soft. It's the mohair lace that had no bands on it, so we don't know what make it is, but it's very, very soft. So that's going well. She's hoping that it'll look nicer on the lace because she's not overly fond of the bold stripes. Helen was, she's pulled back the blue shawl. It's a bit like that with the zigzaggy edge on it. That's off Garn Studio Drops website. So she's pulled that back because she didn't have quite the right mohairs to go with it. I was telling you about her trip, wasn't I? There were 3 wool shops that she went to, and I thought that this week I might tell you a little bit more about the Afstap. And she did tell me what it meant, and I can't remember. The pit stop. Something like that. They had a lot more sort of British yarns that we can get here, and Scottish pure wools. She's really into her naturals. JC Rennie 50-gram balls in lots of different shades apparently. There was also a wonderful button shop. Isn't it great? I love the way that shop's set out. It's very buttony. Right, what else did we do? I was working on... I have cast on a new one. And it is Halu by Caitlyn Hunter of Boyland Knitworks. And I've made this using Dundaga wool, which is very rustic, a little bit rough but not hard, so soft and squishy, but hopefully will soften with wear and washing and things, and I think it might bloom a little bit as well. So it's top down with a lace panel around the top with a bubble feature also. I'm absolutely loving doing it, and I'm really liking how the yarn's blending. So I've got these colours to go through. So it'll be going pink again, then a bit of orange, then the greeny colour, limey colour, and then purple. And I have more. I have this, and I have another skein. So I think it will be enough. I must have calculated it at one point or another whether it was going to be enough. And it seems like it will be. Or it'll be another short-armed project. So Helen also brought the stitch markers and the little gifts and showed us her pattern book. Did I take a picture? Probably not. And there were some little witches and things as well, but I've got these ladybirds. Just There, that's focused on them, hasn't it? Right then. So that's knitting that we were doing. Today's Sunday. I've been clearing out a bedroom because it's where Marble spent a lot of time. Marble is still here, but this is her last day. A lady came to meet Marble. I'm all sneezy because I've been cleaning out cat hairs. So it's made me a bit snotty cleaning out cat hairs. But the room, oh, do you know, Daisy's not coming out of the kitchen for a week. She's retreated into the kitchen and she's not keen on Marble, and Marble's hunting her all the time and stalking her and yowling at her. Now Daisy hisses back, but she's not come out of the kitchen, and she's been sitting on the top of a bread machine on top of a worktop, so she's got as high up as she can. So she feels very insecure. So it's not working out, and I'm not prepared to wait for a year or two. It's not fair on Daisy because she was doing so well. So a lady came with a boyfriend yesterday. Oh no, that was Friday. And she's going to have her. So the other lady, the lady from the cat rescue, is going to come this afternoon and pick Marble up and take her to her new home. So I think that's probably for the best. Black coffee sometimes helps when you're a little bit. Right then, other things I was thinking of doing today. Decluttering. I had a vision. You know when you see these interiors on Pinterest or anywhere, you go looking about at interiors and they've got the ceiling pink and it looks awesome. I tried it in my kitchen and it looked absolutely vile. But I thought, it's only like a blush pink. Might look nice in the bathroom. But I am thinking of painting the ceiling a dark colour to make it less bright. So I might have a black ceiling or a teal ceiling. Who knows? But this is not a podcast about interior decoration. Really, it's supposed to be about knitting generally. So I am wearing a lovely little cardigan that I've just found in the cupboard that I forgot I had. And it is obviously, well, if you know, you know, it's Norro Silk Garden, and the pattern will be one of their patterns as well, I think. Yeah. And yes, my colours match up, but I think it was a happy accident, or I was nearby the right colour, so I went with it. Because I'm not much of a fuss pot, really. Yesterday, Helen and I went to the Durham Guild of Spinners, Weavers and Dyers. We were doing a bit of spinning in the morning and had our lunch, and Helen's going to try more at home, because when you're in that room you feel pressure, even though nobody's pressuring you, and people are like probably really helpful or would be pleased to help if they didn't offend you. I think Helen's going to try to do a little bit more spinning at home so she gets comfortable with it. I think that's better to do it more often when you're not really used to spinning at all. Doing it more often really does help. It helped me. So I have this old spinning wheel, and it was interesting. What was interesting about that was I was looking around, and you know you have your tension for your, or that goes over your spool. Well, I have my wire and the spring that you can tell how much tension you've got on. If you look at the spring, you get familiar with how much tension you've got on. Well, 3 of the wheels around me had two springs. They had another one on the other side. So I went over to look at somebody else's wheel, and she had just had one like me. And then one of the girls said one of the women said that she'd she'd bought hers and she was told that it was an upgrade to have 2 springs. So that's really something I should look up and find out more about. Well, that was quick, wasn't it? I've looked that up, and actually it's beneficial, especially when you're plying, because it stops 2 tensions pulling against a fixed point or something. Because when you're plying, you're putting your yarn onto your wheel. So I'll show you where I mean. I'll put a picture on and show you what I mean. Because there's one spring when you're just spinning, but the band goes over the spool, and then it goes through a ring and then across to where your tensioner is, and on that across bit there's another spring on some of the wheels, and it is an upgrade. So that's what I'm going to have to do to mine. I have a spring there, and then round this side on across here the other wheels had another spring. So I was spinning and I spun enough yarn on one spool, so I changed the spools, and with mine's an old spinning wheel, and I know that you can go, I think it just shows the traditional on the website, you can like gauge the age of your spinning wheel by the features, and mine's, you know, the spindles in the wheel got a different shape. So mine haven't got the rings round them like the more modern wheels have. And there was a brand new wheel. A lady was sitting next to me with a brand new wheel. I don't think I took pictures of anything, but I think we're all familiar. I'll find some and put them on. So they have a small picture of a spinning wheel. Well, mine has, it's like just the wheel bit, the logo on mine. So I shall find out the date and maybe let you know that as well. That's all quite interesting. But I think with mine being old, I'm oiling. I'm having to oil. I'm not putting hardly any tension on whatsoever to get the take-up's too fast otherwise. That might be another good reason for having 2 springs on the tensioner cable band, or whatever you call it, because I can't have any tension on at all, or it just grabs the yarn up too fast and I can't get enough twisting before it's on the spool, and then it snaps, doesn't it? If you don't get enough twisting before it's taken up onto the spool, then it's weak and it just snaps. So I shall have a look at that, probably very shortly. Now, after we'd had something to eat, we just take our own sandwiches. There was quite a lot of people there. Some interesting weaving going on. And in the other room there was a silk workshop. One of the ladies I think she's travelled the silk trail, and she had photographs from all these different places and sample fabrics, and it was all silk. So she did a talk about silk, and there's even 3 different silkworms. We didn't know that. I didn't know that, and I've studied some textiles and the different habitats, what they eat, how they are looked after, and how the silk is produced. So it was very interesting, and really all I've got to show you is some of the fabrics. So she has quite a collection, and the ruffles that she made herself you wear around your neck. I thought that was interesting. I don't know where that idea comes from. Right. So that's all about that. And I've told you about the cat already, didn't I? In the middle, it's all out of order this week. Is there anything I forgot to tell you? I don't think so. I think Daisy's going to be happy. I'm wondering if we should show her the other cat leaving. But the problem with that is I can't pick her up. I can pick her up, but I can't pick her up and walk into the living room unless I restrain her or put her in a box or wear a big thick sheepskin coat to stop the claws going in. She's got a poorly ear where Marble caught her because I can feel it. And Marble did have a claw stuck in her bottom. So she'll be much better off being top cat at somebody else's house. Don't you think? So I think that's about it for this week. So more news. I'm not supposed to... There's talk about this, isn't there? Holding your mug like this. So more news, maybe next week.
Oh, went to Oldham, got some yarn.